Hi and welcome back to Music and Gear. Today we're going to go over floor pedals, and that's something that I personally don't use too often. Most of my guitar equipment is all rack mount equipment. When I very first started playing guitar, I did use floor pedals, but now pretty much the only floor pedal I use is more or less like a boost pedal to give me a little bit more gain going into my rack mount equipment. I posted a video a couple weeks ago about my SYN2 preamp, and I started looking into a more modern approach to rack mount equipment. And I'm still on the fence. You know, I understand why people like floor pedals. It seems that floor pedals give you more effect. A rack mount unit doesn't seem to go as high. Like, let's say you have a phaser and the phaser level is here on a rack mount equipment and it's maxed out. A pedal, you can just go way past a usable amount. I kind of see the allure to it. I also kind of see the downfall to pedals. When you start chaining a lot of stuff together, you start introducing a lot of connections and a lot of noise, transformer issues. All these problems have been rectified in rack mount equipment because it's an isolated power supply the way it's designed. It's designed to be clean and clear, and the transformers don't really cause that problem. So what I've done, I want to try to create a budget-friendly amplifying system that doesn't cost what a rack mount system costs. We want to take a basic small tube amplifier and allow the person to have multiple effects and a boost and have a really good sound. You know, something that if you're playing in a larger place, you can put a mic in front of and still go front of house with. Or in my case, this little HT20, it's loud enough for this house. It's quite loud. In small bars, it's probably all you would need. So our first pedal that I've picked up that I want to kind of go over, I picked up the JoYo Extreme Metal. And these are very cost-effective pedals. We're going to open it up here. We can see that it's packed in like this bubble wrap. And there's a small direction sheet. Let's look at the direction sheet here. Small manual. But if you're like me, you're not going to read the manual. Put that in the box. So let's get the pedal out here. And it looks like it has a 3-band EQ, drive, level, and boost. And a separate boost button and a bypass button. It does have a full rubber mat on the bottom, which is nice. It won't move around. And there's the door for the battery compartment. And it does use a standard 9-volt battery. It says QC passed 03. So in today's video, what we're going to do, I'm going to take this pedal, I'm going to run my guitar into the input of this pedal, and then out of the output of this pedal into the input of my Blackstar H220. We are going to use the clean channel. So what we want to try to do, we want to get our distortion from the pedal. But even though this is a tube amp, we're still going to color it with the tube clean channel. You're still going to get the tube sound because you're running it into the tube clean channel. So you're still going to get the tube warmth, but we're going to get our drive from the solid state circuit in this pedal. Now for effects, I am going to use my Alesis. I have an Alesis Multiverb 4 here. Now I know what you're saying. Well, you just said you didn't want to use rack mount equipment. We are running this through the effects loop in the HT20. And the reason I want to use this, right now you can pick these up really cheap, new, anywhere from $130 to $150. And you can run up to 4 effects simultaneously. So that brings the cost down to like $30 for each effect that you're using. And you're not going to get the hum since it's rack mount. So in this particular video, we are going to use the Alesis in the effects loop. I do have a classic flanger, a classic chorus, and a D-Speed 2, which is a looper and delay pedal. In later videos, what I'll do is I'll start coming out of the effects loop and we'll start adding pedals. But in this particular video, I want to see what a hybrid setup will do. The lowest cost possible. And I believe this is the lowest cost possible to get all your effects, a boost, distortion, and a clean. So I'm going to hook the pedal in, and when we come back, we'll get some sounds. Okay, I now have the pedal plugged into the amp. So basically what we're doing, I'm going from our Kramer Night Swan right into the pedal. Then we're going out of the pedal into the input of the amplifier. And if you look here, we are on the clean channel. That's the volume on the clean. And there's our tone. On the clean channel, the equalizer here does not work. So we have volume, tone, reverb is at 1/3, and our master. We are using the Alesis here. And the Alesis has just a little bit of delay on it, okay? And it's also using a little bit of chorus. It's very little chorus, very little delay. But those are the 2 effects that the Alesis is running into the effects loop of the Blackstar. So let's give this thing a whirl. And I have tinkered around with it a little bit. This is the Extreme Metal pedal. If you're looking for a pedal that's going to do a large variety of distortion sounds, this probably is not the pedal for you. Even with the gain or the drive all the way down, it still has a substantial amount of breakup. And that's where we're going to pretty much start. I'm going to turn the gain down. We're going to put it at like very low, less than 25%. We're going to hit turn it on. Now we're going to hit the boost. Turn the boost off, and I'm going to hit the E power chord. And that's the drive all the way to 0. So it still has quite a bit of attack, even at 0. So let's try it with the boost on. it still has quite a bit of attack. Like I said, that's with the drive at 0. Now at 0, we want to see the volume change. Can we balance the amp out going from clean to the distorted channel? So this is our clean. Tell the way I have the volume and the master set, there is a little bit of breakup on the clean. So let's hit it. Make it work like a boost. We can turn our volume up just a little bit. Now let's put our boost on. That's with the drive all the way down. Now let's give it a little bit of drive. We're going to turn the volume back just a little bit. Turn the boost off. With the boost. Let's give it a little bit more drive. Now, if you look at how I have the EQ set, It seems like on the level, once you pass this point, you start introducing a lot of noise into the amplifier. So what I've done to offset that, I'm using the EQ to boost the signal forward. That's why if you look, our highs at like 75%, our lows at 75%, we're probably at 60% on our mid. It's mean sounding. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to continue to turn our drive up. That's at 50%. Extremely responsive. It seems like once you pass 1/3 on the drive, it gets a little bit more harmonic. Now let's start playing around with our EQ a little bit. I'm going to put our level at 50%. Drive, I'm going to turn back just a little bit, probably 40%. So let's cut our mids. Let's put our mids at like 40%. Let's continue to cut our mids. This is probably a little too much. Let's bring our mids back up to about 40%. let's really crank our lows. We're at about 80% on the lows. It's quite aggressive. It has, in my opinion, a really nice metal sound. Now let's do the exact opposite. Let's roll our lows off and let's really crank up our highs. That's pretty high. That seems a little crunchy to me. So let's turn our highs back to about 75%. Now let's start playing around. I've actually been playing at a pretty low volume. So most likely in the edit, I'm going to have to boost the guitar playing to bring it up to unity. So now let's go through and let's just kind of turn up our input volume. And we're turning up our master. Turn our high back just a little bit. I'm going to increase our low. Let's turn our boost off. It's got more of a high gain, like crunch sound without the boost. Now if we take our boost control and turn it up, say that's a presence. It does sort of act like a presence, but it doesn't seem to be as bright as a presence. It's like moving the high and the mid. Let's cut it back just a little bit. Without the boost. Let's cut our tone back on the amp to 50%. It's a little too much difference in tone. So let's roll the boost back. I think that's pretty decent. I'm going to cut the boost back. Now let's see what difference we get. That's quite impressive. that's going to conclude our little demo on the Extreme Metal pedal. What are my final thoughts on this little guy? I think it's a really good pedal for what it's designed to do. It says right on it, Extreme Metal. It is not going to give you a bluesy, crunchy tone. Even in its lowest setting on the drive, it still has a lot of gain. I believe, this is my personal opinion, this pedal is very happy between 50% and 25% on the gain. Anything over 75% on the gain, it starts getting muddy. Anything over 60% on the level control, it starts introducing noise into the amp, which I don't think is a problem. There is a tremendous amount of gain on tap long before you hit those restrictions, 50%, 70% on the drive. The boost is like a presence that's in between the high and the mid. It is getting a little brighter with the boost, but once you dial it in, I believe it would be good to come out of your regular channel, hit the boost to go into your lead. The 3-band EQ on it also makes it very nice, because the way I was using it in my amp, I only had the tone knob. So having the high, mid, and low control really opened up a lot of options. I think it's a really good pedal for what it's designed to do. I think it does far better than my Ibanez pedal that I have at higher gain stuff. I will say this though, the Ibanez pedal will give you more of a crunchy tone when you dial it back. This pedal is not going to do that. But if you're looking for a high gain pedal, I really like this pedal. It's $40. It's a $40 pedal and it works extremely well. You can get a lot of different high gain tones out of it. I was very impressed with it. I think this pedal, along with using the Alesis, you could play anywhere with that. And I only took maybe 2 or 3 hours dialing sounds in. I think after you spent a week or two playing with it and going out and playing and dialing it in, this could be a very good budget-friendly effect system and distortion pedal on any smaller tube amp. If you bought one of these pedals and you had a completely different experience with it, I'd like to hear from you. Leave me a comment down below. But if you bought one and you find it intriguing like I do, how they can make such a nice pedal at such a low cost, and it's actually a quiet pedal. Like I said, anything below 50% on the level, it's extremely quiet. If you bought one and you're finding out the same thing, leave some comments down below. How are you dialing your settings in on yours for your particular sound? I would be curious to hear how other people are dialing this pedal in. Anyway, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And if you would, smash the like button. It truly helps the YouTube AI system push the video out for others. We're going to have more videos coming on pedals. The next time we're going to use this pedal and some other pedals in the effects loop and see what sounds we can get just using pedals. This time around, like I said, we used the Alesis and this. I believe that's the best bang for the buck. But we're going to move forward. We're going to add some different pedals to it and see what else we can come up with. And also, if you like content like this, again, leave me some comments down below. I'm trying to do content that you guys are interested in, things that you want to see. And I had heard people talk about pedals and why I'm always using my rack mount equipment. So I thought it would be a fun little experiment to start playing around with pedals in a small tube amp and see if we can get this setup to sound like an $8,000 or $9,000 rack unit. Anyway, like I said, smash that like button and consider subscribing. And thank you for clicking on the video.